and how much has been expended on some of these projects vis-a-vis the state of this project. So I'm going to take us back for a moment. We'll listen to the excerpts, the updates given by the Commissioner for Works and the Chairman of CHRAN, and then we'll take it up from there, because I'm sure that my guest has plenty of questions to ask in that regard.
First, let me thank the Chairman of the NUJ for accepting that we hold this today at very short notice. Let me also thank you, dear colleagues and friends, for coming out to listen to us. This is important because, first, His Excellency the Governor's disposition towards information is that information should be available in a timely and usable manner. And therefore, it is important that we come to have information. Because, like you do know as professionals, information can become misinformation, it can become disinformation, it can become malinformation. And in any of its variants, immediately leaves information. It doesn't do society any good, it causes harm. And traditionally, it's said that the absence of information concomitantly promotes the presence of rumor. And which is why, at the fastest available period, we must try to see how best we can get information across to you. The Honorable Commissioner for Works, accompanied by the Chairman of the Environmental Protection and Waste Management Agency, are with us to brief us primarily on what the state government has done since 2023 in their sectors and what the future plan is.
Beginning from May 29th, 2023, when the ship of the present administration, captained by His Excellency Pastor Minor, PhD, set sail, an impressive mileage has been covered in this voyage to expand the frontiers of infrastructure and consolidate on existing ones. Governor Minor has so far injected 47.93 billion into 36 of the inherited FGPC projects, while 4.04 billion was injected into 51 interventions, emergency intervention projects, inherited from the immediate past administration. This has brought us to a total of 51.94 billion, which has been spent on this category of projects. In the Arise projects, 61 projects have been initiated or flagged off in one way or the other. Some of them have been completed. The Alparende Market Amphitheater, Atiku Abubakar Underground Tunnel. Goreti is one of those to be inaugurated. 151 billion has been injected to finance 50 FGPC Arise Agenda projects, while 4.54 billion has been spent on 11 emergency intervention Arise projects. In total, a total of 156.2 billion has been spent on Arise Agenda projects. Those are the projects of this present administration. We've heard a lot about Tabernacle Road. I want to take that. And when His Excellency assumed office, that was one of the first projects flagged off. And the greater part of the work for this Tabernacle Road excavation. And from the professional advice, as at today, I was at that project 2 days ago, we are at 11 meters deep below the ground, as unfortunately been slowed down by the perennial rainfall. The contractors assured us that by December, we should be able to open that road. That is an assumption that the situation that we have on ground with the rains will affect. The situation with addition to what Aprima is doing, into emergency road construction experts through initiating additional designs like speed breakers on the roads, as this can cause early damage to the road infrastructure. The right thing to do is to approach the Ministry of Works with such suggestions. Let me interrupt the firm and sincere commitment of the administration of Pastor Moino, PhD, to complete the road infrastructure projects he inherited by previous administration in Akwa Ibom State, as well as completing the ones initiated by his administration. As the rainy season ends, I assure you that this government, through the Ministry of Works and Fire Service, is set to swing into action and exert the needed pressure on contractors handling road projects to complete them within scheduled timeline.
It is a collective responsibility of all of us and government to ensure that our state is clean. As individuals, we have a responsibility to take care of our surroundings and ensure that we contribute to a clean and healthy environment. This can be achieved by simple actions such as proper waste disposal. And His Excellency the Governor magnanimously approved the appointment of some resource persons who are undergoing training right now, and they will resume on the first day of November 2024. I'm also glad to announce to you today that His Excellency the Governor has approved the purchase of 5 number swing arm garbage trucks and 5 number compactor trucks. He has also approved the construction of 50 number 6,000 liter dumpsters for a start, which will be placed in different locations with high volume of waste within Uyo capital city. His Excellency has also approved the release of 100 men from Ibom Community Watch as environmental marshals to Akwa Ibom State Environmental Protection and Waste Management Agency. His Excellency has also approved the construction of Uyo Village Road. In constructing that road, we as an agency, we must decommission the present dump site in Uyo Village Road. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
You mentioned moving some of what 208 billion naira being injected into infrastructure in the last 1 year. Do you think this amount spent is commensurate with what done and completed?
So the amount spent is commensurate. We are not saying that this amount will finish the roads. We are still working. And immediately they finish the mobilization, they put their IPC, we certify what they have done. The governor has in his office a delivery unit that we send all our payment to them, they verify before these contracts are finally awarded. Because he doesn't want a one-way check that we stay in the ministry, do a payment and award, take to FGPC to award. Any payment, any contract we want to award, when we have finished at the ministry, we send to the governor's office. There's a project team that go through our payment, certify the cost, and then before it goes to FGPC. So in terms of due process, Manos, Bureau of Public Procurement, everything is done.
To the 21.5 kilometer in Colonia, in Contia, Uranera, in Consia, non-dom road, alright, with 45-meter span bridge. There's been a lot of controversy on the construction of that road. That contract was awarded to C Construction in 2021, but sometime last month, the Permanent Secretary, Finance and General Purpose Committee sent a letter, or issued a letter, terminating that contract. I'd like you to speak to the allegations and what's stopping the construction of that road.
We terminated this contract this month. In April, we had written them a letter, which they signed for, complaining about the standard of their work. Number 2, subletting contract without the approval of the ministry. Because if we give you a contract, especially road construction, if you want to sublet any part of the contract, you have to write to the ministry and we'll give you authorization. And particularly, what bothered the ministry on inspection, several inspection, was the poor performance of that company. As we speak, go from the beginning of that road construction construction to the end and show us a site of Z Construction Company on that road. We wrote a letter on the 15th of April this year. We wrote another letter 22nd of May on the same issue. When we terminated, we invited them for joint measurement, which is an engineering practice. The next thing we received was a letter from a lawyer. Anybody that is avoiding what they should do, there's something, a skeleton somewhere in his or her cupboard. So that's where we are, my brother.
Well, that's the just a small excerpt of what transpired on Sunday, that particular converge where they gave clarity, or should I say update, as to what they are doing with regards to construction, because my guess has been very heavy on conversations bordering on the state of the roads, state of refuse and whatnot. And so this person's concerned, they were at that meeting and they took time out to give update. Now, some of the local papers here in the state also took time out to highlight some of the things that we are going to be looking at this morning. But let me bring my guest in without delay. My guest is the State Director, Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network, CHRAN, a journalist, and of course a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Utwekon Franklin Insong.
Good morning, Captain of the Flight. Good morning, listeners. I find it fascinating listening to the press conference that was held by the Commissioner for Information, that of Works, and then the chairman of ASEMA. I was so excited when I listened to it, and I'm happy that the government is actually a responsive government. You recall, for the past 3 issues I have had on your station, I had been hammering on 2 of the agencies of government, the Ministry of Works and then the Environmental Waste Management Protection Agency, that is ASEMA. And I have, over time, even the last edition of the last week interface here, I had called out these agencies. I called them by their names. I called out the agencies as an agent of government. And I'm happy that we are getting response and we will get there. Having said this, I would have also wanted to hear from the chairman of ACRIMA, though the Commissioner for Works, I seem to mention that even though what ACRIMA is also doing, that the government has also asked that they appointed some contractors to also, fix potholes. Having said this, I am happy, like I said much earlier, that our governor, Pastor Omoeno, is a listening governor. And he seemed to have the right enthusiasm and the zeal and passion for governance. Because when you don't listen to your people, those you are governing, when you don't listen to what the masses is saying, then you will not be able to make progress. You could be doing progress in the revise. You could be moving, but in a revised motion that's moving backward. The government of Pastor Omoeno, seem to have the right, like I said, the right vision for the state. Maybe those who are working with him are not actually doing what they should do to tighten the knot and give him the pass mark that way in the society groups and in the media, and even as passerbys we want to give him. In 2013, after the passage of the 2014 budget appropriation law, and the governor signed it into law, the Ministry of Finance, in fact, the government organized a summit at Ibom Hotel and Golf Resort, and where the budget breakdown was being, given. We as a CSO were there, and part of the policy objectives of the 2024 budget include industrialization and job creation. That is what part of the budget include. Before I touch on the audio that you played, let me say that what we presented. Let me say that what we presented at that forum is what I want to represent here. But before then, let me ask a question. I heard the Commissioner for Works saying that the government has put in 4.9 billion for over 30 FGPC roads that were inherited by the past government. I also heard, him mentioning that total, all the expenditure that the government has made in over 17 months is over 156.2 billion on project. I would have loved to ask questions. I was not at that press conference. I believe that there was a text of the press conference. As a journalist, I dwell more on fact. If the Commissioner for Works had presented a text for that press briefing that he made, perhaps, probably, he had listed out the items. I want to believe so. Yes.
I want to believe there is, but
a text.
I don't have it.
Yes. Now, now, if there is that text, I would have expected to hear the names of this project, their locations, and the amount assigned to each of them. That on its own will give paid to the question of accountability and transparency. You don't just come and tell me you have put in 47 billion naira of taxpayers' monies into over 30 projects or 30 FGPC projects, and you expect me, the taxpayers, to go home and be happy or clap for you. You should have been able to tell me, in this road this, the government has put that, in road that, government has put this, it's also road, it's also location, government has put this, so that the community will know that the government is investing in this project as so much as the figures that have been put in. So you won't hear somebody call in to tell you, I'm calling you for so place, the government has not done anything in my community, whereas the government has put in billions in that road project that is lying either uncompleted or seemingly abandoned. Now that is the point. With regards to transparency and accountability for not putting the names of those over 30 projects that had been taken over by the government. Now, having said this, the past government of Deacon Udome Emmanuel did over 50 road projects across the 31 local government areas. Towards the end of his administration, we wrote to him and demanded to know where these projects are. And then they sent to us, a booklet, I still have it in my office, containing the road projects, their locations, and where they are. I took my team, we combed the entire state and verified this project, and they were seen, and they were completed. The ones that were ongoing were about, call it, maybe 30%, remaining for completion. But virtually all the ones that we saw, over 50 of them, were completed and put to use. So, that I will leave that for the ministry. Let them publish the detailed locations of the roads and the amount that they have put in each of these roads. That one is now before the ministry to put that information out, because they have now come to respond to questions that we've been raising here, and we are now asking accountability and transparency. That being put to rest, the issue of potholes in Uyo Metropolis and Akwa Ibom State in general has become a recurrent decimal. I heard the commissioner in that chat, or Pali, saying that the government has appointed 2 contractors also to add up to what Akrima is doing. We live in Uyo, we live in Akwa Ibom. I drive the road every now and then. Let him mention one that has been fixed. The only one that we knew was that the one at Rodoma traffic light junction, and even right that one has already, there's another one in front of that one that was fixed. As we speak today, across the state, nothing is happening. Perhaps, I use the word perhaps, I choose my words guidedly. Perhaps the ministry is not aware that Akrima is not doing anything with regards to potholes fixing in the state. The issue of street lighting, he did not, maybe he mentioned, but I did not hear him mention about street lighting in the state that has put the state into total darkness, apart from the highways that we have, that is the wrong road access that we have. Now, that is what I want to say. Then the issue of waste management agency, of course, I want to commend my friend Prince Akpanikim. He is doing a good job. He was doing a good job during the Udo Emmanuel's government, and the state was earning, accolades and earning awards as best, cleanliness of the state and the rest. I want to add that beyond coming to tell us that the government has approved this, approved that, it is like an argument of the deaf. We want to begin to see action. When people who are deaf are arguing, nobody will hear each other because they will be shouting. Nobody will hear each other. We want to see action. We only want to see action. What the Commissioner of Works is saying is like argument of the deaf. Also, we want to see action. We are having potholes across the state. You don't want to wait until rain subsides. Potholes is something that can be managed, can be patched even within the rains. You can patch it. It's not a lengthy, it's not a big something. Allowing it to be until the road subside, then add with other ones that you have will, for me, will not, go well, because the potholes will be expanding and will becoming gully, and they will even become dishes on the way, and that could constitute a road hazard. Now, that is that. Now, back to the government of Pastor Omoyano. The government has tried. I have said this over time. During our one of our public event that we had, public forum that we had, we took time to X-ray his 1 year in office. Then it was 1 year, and we said he has done so much in the area of Arise Compassionate Homes. He had done so much in building several homes for the homeless, for the less privileged, for the orphans, for the widows. He has done so much fantastic on this part. He has touched on the issue of pension and gratuity. Excellent. I give him thumbs up for that. Ever since he came on board, he has approached governance from bottom to top approach. Most of the things he's doing touch on the less privileged, touch on those who were, abandoned, the masses. That I give it to him. But the policy objective of the 2024 budget that is still running includes job creation and to put industries in the state. I recall what we presented at the summit when the Ministry of Finance organized that budget breakdown in 2020 to discuss the 2024 budget. What we put down as an advisory to the government was that the government should, streamline her project. Number one. Number two, the government should, take as low-hanging fruit all the industries that were invested or that were brought into the state by the past government of the Kinudom Emmanuel. Some of which industries include: 1, the King's Flour Mill in Ona, the Military Solution Company in Ona, St. Gabriel's Coconut Refinery in Barenin, Coconut Plantation in Barenin, Lion Plywood Company in Ona, Rice Mill in Inni, Aki's Plastic Factory, Aki's Straw Factory, Aki's Tissue Paper Factory, Dakara Industrial Estate in Itu, Automobile Assembling Plant in Ikorokap in Itu, 21-story building that is still here lying, the new International Terminal Airport building, the maintain, repair and overhaul, that is MRO facility at the Victor Atta International Airport, the Peacock Paint Limited in Ikorekan, Etinan, Aki's Pencil and Toothpick Factory in Itu, Ibom Greenhouse Farm along the airport road, Champion Brew Wheels just lying here along Ibesipo Sultan, Ibom Power Company in Ikorabasi, Ekam Power Substation in Barenin, that is in my own village, the e-library that is along the IBB, Ibom Tropicana Complex. We only have shopping mall out of the complex that was envisaged by the past government. The Ibom Deep Seaport, up till now, nothing has done. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been said about that Ibom Deep Seaport. Ibom Science Park. If you are going towards that area, the entire massive land that was, acquired by government to do the science park has been abandoned. Aqua Prime Hatchery and Poultry Limited at Mbeya Urwan. Ibom Hotels and Golf Resort. This one recently the government has put in, some, resources to, begin to refurbish the hotel and maintain the golf course. quality ceramic plant in Itu, fertilizer blending plant in Abak, Jubilee syringe factory in Una, among others. We are appealing to the governor that there's no how you can create jobs with this industry not functioning. Let the government begin to channel its resources on how to, bring back this moribund industry. If they are moribund, if they need support, if they need assistance of any kind, in fact, the governor should embark on a tour or put up a committee to visit these industries and see why they are not functioning. There's no how you have this industry working in this state and you don't have the youth gainfully employed. And you will see our youth involving in industries, involving in jobs. And the state will become an industrial hub when these over 30 industries that I just mentioned here are put to use.
I've listened to you, and the question I'd like to ask as a journalist as yourself is the amount so spent on inherited with capital letters. I wish I could make my voice, emphasize on the capital letters. You were here in this state when the last administration said, and they gave an assurance that they would complete every project. Quote me and fact check me. You were here when the administration said that they were going to complete every project. They would not leave any abandoned project. Now, the Commissioner for Works is telling us that 51.96 billion is spent on inherited projects. So, Otwekon, forgive me, but this will, force the question. Were we lied to? Or are we being lied to about the state of projects from the other administration?
You want me to answer?
Please. You're a journalist.
I'm not. I am not the commissioner. You see, the question you're asking.
You're a man about town.
I am the wrongest person.
But let me ask you again.
Okay.
You were here.
And I'm still here.
Good. But
I will still be here.
You heard the other administration say that they would leave no project uncompleted. They will complete all projects. So that is where the question is coming from. Did they not complete those projects? You're a man about town. That's what I'm asking you. Now they drive everywhere. They count 99 potholes.
I want to ask you if you have a short fuse.
I have a very, very short fuse.
If you have a short fuse, let me know.
My own is very short.
Because your short fuse will soon cut off the light.
Wait, because of Otwekon.
Yes.
At the exit end of the last administration, your organization, and by extension civil society organizations, you went to ascertain the industries and everything that the administration said they had done. And you came and gave a report. You gave a report to Otwekon. You told us what was and where they're located, their state. You also told us what has not been completed. So Otwekon, if projects were inherited and the administration said before they left that they would complete all projects, were we lied to? Again, I repeat that question.
Mike, off your mic.
No, I will not. No. I will not.
Don't take over the place of the. Don't take over the place of the.
I will not off.
You see, I am liking this conversation because it's bringing more interrogation, and it is going to help the government of Pastor Omoino. I like it that the governor likes, being put to task like this, questions like this. I recall the last press conference he had with the media, not this last one, the one before this one that he just had with the media. When they asked questions, he called the ministry heads to answer. I watched it on social media. I wasn't there.
I was there.
Good.
I was there.
So I like it that the governor, entertained questions and throw it to the concerned persons or ministries to answer, and they also answered in their own, perspective. Like I said in my opening remarks, I said that the government of the Kodo Emmanuel did over 50 road projects. I said this in my opening remarks. And I said that we wrote to him and said we want to see this project where they are located. Just like we are hearing now that over 30 projects money have been put into over 30 projects. We wrote to the government, and the government sent us a booklet of this project where they are, their locations. And I told you that I took my team. We combed the state for over 6 months across the entire state. And this project we are seeing.
You saw
I said this project we are seeing. I said this in my opening remarks. I said this project we are seeing, and some were completed, put to use. Some were about 30% remaining to complete. I have said this in my opening remark. I did not miss words when I was saying it. I said we saw it. Now, we also went and we saw industries that I have just listed. That is why I can tell you where they are located. I am on live radio here, and when I call location, I feel that our listeners can call in from where they are to say, yes, this project is not there. Now, they have become moribund. That is the question I'm asking. Why are they moribund?
In all that you mentioned, you didn't mention the rice mill in Ini.
I have mentioned it now. It's there. I mentioned it now. It's my list.
Okay, so is the rice mill in Ini still
that is the question. That is why I'm saying that it's not left for people in Ini to call. Because when a government build, that's why I said if these industries are put to use, mark my words. I said the policy objective of 2024 budget is industrialization. If these industries are put to use, there will be no jobless for the youth in this. Youth won't be jobless. They will be gainfully employed. There are industries that have been lying fallow, have become moribund. The Jubilee factory quitted the state. At the entering of the government of Pastor Moino, the Jubilee factory quitted. And nobody could actually know why they quitted. So the question now that we are asking the governor is that, like I said in initial stage, when the governor took over, I came here to say that the governor should put up a committee to begin to go around to tour these industries and know their state and know what needed to be done. Shortly after I said this, the governor put up a committee to investigate the Power Company. You recall that? And the committee tried to verify to know what happened at the Power Company because workers were protesting now and then at Ikorabasi. So we thought that the government should put up a committee to go around the state and check these industries where they are, their state, and what is needed to be done. Because lands have been acquired by government for this industry's sake. If you go to the science park, the whole of a stretch of the land owned by rural people have been taken over by government, and it has become a ravine. It has become like a desert. So the government needs to go around there to check and know what needed to be done to do those things and engage the youth of that area. Go to my area, you will see that the entire land that was used for planting of the coconut have been, become fallowed, have life fallowed. My land was part of it, which I donated as a community person for the land to be used for industries, to come and employ our youth. But today the youth are not employed. The refinery has been completed. I went with my team to see the refinery.
That was the one that affected the
that the government said. Yes, but that plantation came with a refinery. The refinery was completed, and we even tested oil that it refined.
So when was the last
from
time
there?
You were there?
That was in the past government.
So
that is why I said
that place is not working again.
I said I passed through. That is my community. In my community, the gate is under lock and key. The refinery is under lock and key. Like I have said before, the government, when it came on board, should constitute a committee to go around these industries, like the Aqua Prime hatchery in Beyoruan. Today, do you know how much a day-old chick is sold? Very, very high, because they are brought in from outside the state, like Ibadan. Very, very high. That is why when you buy 3 month or a 3 month broiler, it goes for over 10,000 naira because of the high cost of buying the day-old chick and the high cost of buying the feeds. That is the point. Meanwhile, you have hatchery that should produce the day-old chick and produce the feed. You also talk about the Brazilian, cow that would have been brought into the States. Mexican cow, right? That was brought
plus the
into the States to be able to produce milk. And then the issue of the CCTV camera that would have been planted across the state for fighting of insecurity. So all these are what I said that I would have thought. I said this at the beginning of the government of Pastor Moino, that a committee should be put in place to begin to comb the state and ascertain the state of these industries, because taxpayers' monies have been put in there. The car assembling plant in Ikorukap in Itu, I have been there severally.
Memshak.
I have been there severally. severally, and the government released over 4.2 billion as a guarantee to the company. What is happening there today? They are producing fuel filter as against the car, the vehicle that would have been assembled there. You go to the fertilizer blending plant, plywood plant, and name it. So all these are taxpayers' money being sunk into these industries, and yet they are not being functional. And the youth are moving about solely without gainfully employed. So what I am saying today is that the government of Pastor Moino is, has started very well. He listens to us. He listens to what the people are saying. He should be able to put a committee in place to go around the state and assemble this, assess their position, their state, and then know what to be done to put them back to use. That's my remark on this.
Well, we'll leave it for here. We barely just scratched the surface about questions, and as journalists, we're trained to ask questions, and asking questions will help us in forging a path and helping His Excellency the Governor, because of course, when the amount of money that was revealed, even most of the dailies captured it, over 200 something billion, spent on projects, and about over 51 point something billion on inherited projects. I started asking.
No, but one thing, this is not.
I started asking questions about the inherited projects because we needed to know these projects that were inherited.
Yes.
But as I said, we barely just scratched the surface.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is an ongoing conversation. Okay. And I had also hoped that I will get the Honorable Commissioner for Information and any other commissioner that will avail me the opportunity, so we can judge all and not war on this very pertinent matter. In the meantime, I'll probably let's talk 0906 000 4945. Alternatively, 0906 000 4945. Yeah. Okay. 0906 000 5945. Messages 0906 000 9455. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from there already. And
your name is?
Pastor Good.
Go ahead.
The state of the hatchery I'm talking about. It would be nice if the governor would pay good attention to that hatchery. The hatchery has been a sort of conduit pipe for the siphoning of money from the state coffers. It is not well. The capital investment into that project has been on that train. I would like it to be. I want to know the ruling of the Supreme Court yesterday.
We're not today. That case is hold on. That's the EFCC and the governors. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. That case has been put on a hold. Okay.
Coconut refinery, and not even the coconut plantation in Okowo.